and share. I'm
Hi,
so
Rebecca.
so excited to have you on today as a guest. For those watching, we have had Penny on before. We did a studio tour with Penny, and I actually linked that in the description below. So if you want to check out Penny's studio space, you'll see it there. But I thought it would be great today for Penny to show us what some of her weaving is and tell us a little bit about it. So, what have you got for us today, Penny? Do you want to
Well,
tell us anything about yourself before we start? I'm sorry, that was a quick intro.
oh no, that's okay. That's okay. I was trying to like make messages go away because my Facebook messages were popping up during the video. So I'm Penny, and I've been weaving for 6.5 years now. I started out under a different business name. It was Sarah Hannah Originals, and now after I changed my name, I decided I needed to update the business name too. So it became Pieces by Penny. And yeah, some of my favorite fibers to work with are cotton, as well as tencel and bamboo. And I do like silk, although I don't work with it very often because it's very expensive when you buy the piece silk, which is when no moths are harmed during the making of it or whatever. And it's hard to get, and it's just not easy, and I don't want to pay for the other kind of silk. So mostly I work with plant fibers, which can make some dye jobs challenging. Rebecca knows firsthand that dyeing black on plant fibers is so hard.
Hard,
It's
hard.
almost impossible. She actually dyed my first weft for me 6 years ago in October, and it
Wow.
was for what was it called? Winter solstice, I think.
Oh,
I
yeah.
had asked for black and red and all these really fall toned colors, and it turned out so beautiful.
Oh, good.
And then when I tried to dye my black for the very first time, about 6 months to a year later, it was just this awful color of like grayish green.
It's
I had to dye
really
it three
hard.
times to get it to work. So a lot of what I've been making lately is working with pre-dyed yarns because they have a true black. And a
Yeah.
lot of the designs I've wanted to do feature black. So cotton has been my staple, and then most of my wefts are either bamboo or tencel. So the first piece that I want to show you guys is one that I wove for a friend of mine who's getting married in March. And her
Oh,
colors are black and green. So this one
perfect.
on the loom, I can't open it up all the way, but it was basically a grad from black on one side over to the green for the whole way along. And this piece is actually folded in half to make a crop top. So you can feature it with the black at the front,
Right.
or if you're more of a green person, you can wear it with the green facing forward.
Nice.
And the extra cool thing about this piece, I'm going to throw it on because it always looks cooler when you're actually wearing it, right?
Yeah.
Um, I was going to feed my dog the one day, and I was worried about getting my sleeves in the dog food. So I pinned them up here with a set of just regular sewing pins while I was feeding her. And I thought, you know what? Maybe I should try putting snaps on them because then when I get too hot, I could just snap the sleeves up. And so then you have this like convertible sleeve.
And so easy.
Yeah. And I mean, it's not even that noticeable, but at the same time, it
Oh,
kind of looks like it should be a feature. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like, do you remember those punk jackets from back in the day with all the studs or like the
Yeah.
spikes coming out of them? That's kind of what this makes me think of. You know, it's a little bit, but it's also like really feminine, you
The
know?
little detail.
Yeah.
My
And
my
so,
grand I was just gonna say my granddaughter, she notices every little detail. She's only 2.5, but she notices little details like that she would love. Like,
yeah.
she's just all girl.
Well, I'm a little bit of punk, a little bit girly, so I like to try and juxtapose those two ideas together.
Yeah.
Um, because I've always been told I have a more boyish look, which I don't mind. I kind of like it because it means I can wear, sweatpants and tank tops all the time. But then every once in a while, you want to dress up pretty and wear something nice and girly, right? And I would fold the other sleeve up too, but I'm sitting right in front of the bed. Hold on. I'm starting to sweat over here. So yeah, anyways, and then all you have to do is unbutton the sleeve, and you've got long sleeves again.
Nice.
So this was my first foray into making any sort of functional clothing, and I think that's probably why it's one of my favorite pieces.
Oh, yeah.
And this one was an 8 shaft pattern, and it had this really cool design. I need to find a good section. You can see it a lot better with the
Oh,
light
yeah.
weft.
Yeah, yeah,
So it's
yeah.
really textured.
Is it like, Huck? Is it like a
Yeah,
Huck? Yeah.
yeah, it's an 8 shaft huck pattern. And it
Okay.
was part of a warp I was doing for, as I said, my friend who had chosen a different weave structure. But then
Mhm.
I found this one and figured out all I had to do was change the tie ups. So by
Oh,
changing the
perfect.
tie ups, I could change the pattern completely, even though it was a complicated threading, which made my day because then I actually got to try out the pattern and see it.
Yeah,
So
that's great.
yeah. Okay. So how about we go on to the next one? This one was made on my 8 shaft table loom that I had for a very short period of time.
Wow.
I ended up selling it because I much prefer working on the floor loom.
Yeah,
Uh, it's so much faster, you know,
so
to
much
be able to do it
faster.
with your feet and just keep throwing it. Whereas with the table loom, it's very intentional, which in a lot of instances can be good. But when you're working an 8 shaft pattern, you kind of want it to just keep going, right? You just want to keep going. And so I ended up getting an 8 shaft floor loom instead. But this was the one piece that I made on there, and it's hand dyed,
Oh, it's so
and
pretty.
it's that like really lovely snake skin pattern.
Yeah. Yeah, it's such a good pattern. I remember you went through a phase where you did a lot of snakeskin, right?
Yes, I
Yeah.
did.
Yeah, I
Actually, that was
remember.
probably one of my favorite drafts for a really long time.
Yeah, I've
And
used it a
so
lot too. It's so
yeah,
good.
it goes with everything,
Yeah.
you know? I think I slayed this one too tightly though. Like you can see that the pattern's a little more stretched out.
Oh, yep.
I prefer it to be more squashed, so I probably should have slayed it differently. This was slayed at 24 instead of 20. I should have done 20, I think, because this fiber is a little thicker, but it is one that I haven't worked before. And for the life of me, I'm trying to remember what it is. I think it was silk lavender.
Oh.
So it's one of those really fancy specialty yarns that I got from one of the bulk buy groups
Gotcha.
for the yarn.
Yep.
And so it's more narrow than I prefer for a scarf, but it is so soft. I've honestly never felt anything softer.
That looks like a nice width to me for a scarf.
Yeah,
Mm,
and a lot of people seem to like this width because it's about 12 inches, I think.
yeah.
It was 15 in the read. Um, but for me, I like the ones that like sit up to my chin that I can pull over my face when I'm freezing outside.
Yeah.
I have actually used this one a few times by just wrapping it around twice and tucking the tails into my coat.
Yeah,
So I think it just depends on what you're going for, right?
for sure.
My next piece, I just finished this one last week.
Oh, it's beautiful. I can tell already. I saw you weaving it last week too. Oh, I
Yes,
love it.
look
I
at
love
that.
it.
So
Look at that.
this is
That
not dyed.
that is so interesting.
The
I'm trying to
pattern is awesome. Seriously, it gives it such great texture. Can you see this?
have you got so I remember you showing me what you were planning to do before you did it. And
Yep.
there's yellow in there, right? Like I can't see
Yep,
yellow on my screen, but I know you showed me yellow. And is
I
it
did. There were a few strands of yellow in the black part, but it's mostly blended
oh,
in the middle and
I can
towards
see
the
it now.
white side.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
And is that
you know where I got the idea for this? This
no.
was from my winter solstice warp that I did 6 years ago. I did another
Oh,
grad that was from black to gray, and
oh,
so I wanted to do something similar because I didn't get to keep a piece of that warp, and I was really bummed because I loved how it turned out.
oh.
So this one is, I'm calling it a pullover, or no, wait, a popover, because you can pop it on over your clothes. It's basically like what do you call? I can't think of the word. Hold on, I'll put it on. You'll be able to tell what it is because my brain is just not
Like a
computing right
poncho?
now. Like a poncho kind of thing,
Yeah, I
right?
love it. Look at that.
It is so flowy because I did 20 ends per inch for this and it's 8-2 cotton. And then I used a bamboo for the weft. And because I slayed it more loosely, it's got a lot of bounce. Like, look how stretchy that is.
I love that draft.
I know. I can send it to you after.
Okay.
But, like, the other cool thing about this is not only is it, super long. Hold on, I'll move this back a little so y'all can see it a bit better. So you can see it's almost down to my knees, right?
Right.
But if you turn it this way, then it's like a crop top.
And you're back to the what you did last time.
Yeah, so it's you don't have to have the sleeves sewn up, so that way it's more versatile. You can
I
wear it multiple ways.
I saw you wearing it with a belt. Do you have your belt
Yeah,
there? It was so
I do
pretty.
have
I
the belt
love
here.
that.
I'll grab the belt. See, I came prepared.
Oh, good. Oh, you did good.
So what I do is I bunch it up on my shoulders first, because that makes it more even.
Yeah.
Then I just wrap the belt around. Whoop.
June says she loves it. Thanks, June.
I'm now trying to find the other end of my buckle here. There we go. All right. So then it's a little uneven at the back, but I'll pull the sides over a bit, and you can make it look kind of like a dress by the way you have the belt here.
I guess you could make it longer and you could make a dress, right? It's
Yeah,
so
and then you
pretty.
push
I
the sleeves
love
down,
it.
and I can't do this great, but hold on, let me see if I can tip this up. Ah, ha, ha, look at that. Well, you can see it a little bit better, but you still
Oh, it's
got
so
free range
pretty.
of your arms,
I
right?
love it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I think this is probably one of my favorite things I've made for, like, a really long time, and I've actually used it when I've gotten cold in the house.
Nice. So you
It's just
just sewed
I sewed it
2
up the front and the back. There is
right,
a 17-inch gap between it. Eh, so
and
this
you just
part
sewed the
here.
dark sides together and the
Yep.
oh,
So
I
this is
love
2
it.
pieces from the same warp. They were 62 inches long, and I just sewed them up the selvage. I gently overlapped it, so you can see right
Oh,
here.
yeah.
All I
Oh,
had to do was gently overlap the selvages and sew it all the way down, and then hem the other ends.
that's so good.
So, anybody who weaves and is watching, now you know how to do it.
So
It's
easy, I
pretty
love
easy,
it.
honestly. It's time consuming more than anything.
I guess, but I
Alright,
mean, everything with weaving is, right?
right? If it wasn't time consuming, it wouldn't be weaving.
That's right. There's no
What are
fast
we
food.
looking at for time so far? I don't wanna talk everybody's ear off and, like, totally run over.
Mm-mm. We're only
We
12
still
minutes in.
good? Perfect.
We got
I have
lots
a
of
few
time.
more. I have a few more.
So show
Okay,
us what you got.
so this one, look at these fringes. Aren't they cute?
Oh, they are cute. Is that gold or
Yeah,
sorry, it's like natty? Like
yeah. It's
it's
a natty tussa silk, and
oh,
it's
I
got
see. Yeah,
this
yeah.
really awesome it's another Huck pattern because clearly I love
I
Huck.
was gonna say that looks like Huck again. Yeah, it's
Yeah, but you
nice.
see those little diamonds? They're so
Yeah, they're
cute, like,
beautiful.
you can see through them a little bit. So this was, 22 silk, and I slayed at 30 ends per inch. So it gives it still quite a bit of movement, but enough denseness that it's not gonna be too cold, it'll still
So
keep
is
you
that a
nice and
shawl?
warm. Yeah, this one is a wide one. It's wide enough for a baby wrap. I wrapped my 7-year-old daughter in it in a one shoulder carry.
Wow.
Yeah, and I couldn't believe she fit in it. I'm like, "Look how pretty."
So nice. It's got
I
lovely
really
green.
I love this crisscrossy, like
The fringe is really nice. That's a really nice touch. I love it.
and I alternated, I don't know if you probably can't see it from there, but I alternated between twists and braids.
Oh, you did. Yep. I can now that you've pointed it out, I can see it.
Yeah, it shrunk, up in the wash, so it's a little harder to differentiate between it, but it's really light.
Nice.
Like, anything that I usually make with bamboo is very heavy,
Oh yeah.
whereas this is just it's completely light like air.
And tensil's heavy too. It's like
Yeah. Well,
mhm.
and see, I like these really wide ones because then I can have it up like this. Oh, get down, get down. Cause I hate being cold. The winter is not my favorite time of year at all,
I hate being cold
but
too.
I love the big knots you get with the wide pieces because you can kinda spread them out more.
Looks cozy.
right?
Mhm.
It's just it's a little shorter than I usually do because I didn't realize until near the end of the warp that my measurements were off. And
Oh,
so my warp was not gonna be as long as I'd hoped it was going to be, so
it
both of
happens.
my shawls are slightly shorter on that warp,
It
but I
happens.
really, really loved this one.
Good. It's beautiful.
Thank you.
Love
I
it.
got an oldie I can show you.
Yeah, bring it out.
So this is actually a baby blanket that I made for Tobe, my daughter, when she was 7 months old, 8 months old maybe, and
Wow. That must be
this
one of
one
your first
has
pieces.
yeah, and it has one of your hand-dyed wefts in it.
Oh, neat. Oh, that's
Yeah,
fun.
and that was the piece I kept, but what's even cooler is that the back is minky,
I love it.
but can you see? It's like, what's the word? Quilted.
Quilted. I was gonna say, did you do that?
Yeah, I quilted it. So
Oh,
that
that's
way the blanket on
fun.
the back doesn't slide around, it's attached.
I have put Minky backing on baby blankets, but I've never thought to do that. That's awesome.
I don't remember where I think I saw it in a blog, and that's what gave me the idea to try it, but what's even cooler is the way that the edges are done. It's like a double fold over the minky,
Nice.
so it doesn't make it too thick, and it gives you that nice little border all the way around it.
Yep.
So
June's
now we
sending me heart.
mostly thank you guys. So yeah, now we use this as like a lap blanket for the couch,
Nice.
and Toby also uses it for her dolls.
Oh, yeah.
So I've had this baby for like 6 years now,
Nice.
and it's never going away because it's probably one of my favorite things because, I made it as a gift for Toby and she still snuggles it every night almost.
Oh, yeah, that's special. And hopefully she'll have it and snuggle her babies with it one day
I would love that,
if she
honestly.
chooses to have
And
babies.
do you know what's even cuter? I think I showed you the video of her weaving.
Oh, yeah,
We
yeah,
got
yeah.
like a little table loom. And when she was 4, I had a rigid heddle loom because I was going to start teaching classes. I was going to do like a scarf class for 2 people, so mother and child or, husband and wife, 2 girlfriends, as a way to make them like a gift for each other kind of thing, so they each get to work on a scarf and give it to the other person when it was done.
Right.
But then COVID hit, and so I couldn't do that anymore, and in the meantime, I was teaching Tove how to weave on it because she really wanted to do it. But she was 4, so,
Yeah,
she's
yeah.
bored pretty easily. And at one point, we did a live video because she wanted to teach what she knew about weaving to other people, and it was just the cutest thing. It came up in my memories the other day. It's like 7 minutes long, and the way she talks to the camera is it's like she was born to do it. Do you know what I mean? Like, she just knew what she was doing. And so we watched it together the other day,
Oh, so she
and
wants to do
she
more
said
weaving?
yeah, she's like, "I wanna do some more weaving." So I ended up getting a new floor loom, last weekend, and the lady who was selling it also had this really old antique two-shaft table loom, and I asked her, "What kind of work does it need?" She's like, "I'm not really sure, but I was gonna donate it to the local guild, but I'd rather donate it to you and your daughter." So she
Oh,
did, and all that was missing was I mean, there's only 84 heddles, so I had to order more heddles, which are really hard to find because 'cause they're only 7 inches long.
oh.
That's not a standard size for a floor loom or even a table loom, but I
Huh.
managed to find some, and they're coming. And I got the bottom of the sheds tied up or shafts, sorry. And so now Tobe, every time she walks by the kitchen, she's like, "Mom, can I do weaving? Can I do some weaving?"
Aw.
Like, well, we're getting ready for school, maybe after school.
Aw.
And
It's a
since
great.
tomorrow is gonna be a snow day, I foresee a lot of weaving in my day with her.
Yeah.
But anyway, I digress. I only have 2 more pieces to show you.
Let's see them.
Okay, so this one is all hand spun yarn,
Oh, look at that. Is it
and
is that plain weave or is it
yep,
I
it's
can't tell.
just plain weave,
Gotcha.
and it was made by me combining Angora and yak fibers together, and I
Oh,
spun it from little fluffy clouds. And you can probably see a little better by the fringe here. It's very thick, like thick and thin kind of yarn.
yeah, yep, yep.
I really love the bulk, but it's so soft.
Mm.
Like the most soft thing I've ever felt. And the way that I actually wove this was by stringing it up on my wall because I didn't have a loom that this yarn would go through. It was too thick.
Oh,
So I basically put two boards at the top and the bottom of my wall with nails every half an inch.
okay.
And then I strung up the yarn between the nails up and down. And then I hand wove in the weft and like pushed it down with my arm.
It's a tapestry. You wove it as a tapestry.
Yeah, and it was like I don't even know how I managed to do it. But the weft yarn is a black silk that I had that's like a really rough silk. I forget what that kind is called.
So that the weft is the silk and the
Yeah,
warp was the wool.
yeah. So the little strings
Right,
here
of course. I don't know why
and
I'm
then the thick stuff was the warp because I really wanted the dangly tails. And if I'd done the
Oh,
warp with the black, I wouldn't have had the
gotcha.
dangly tails, right?
Right,
So I
yes.
kind of had to improvise and make myself a loom out of my wall in
That's
order to
perfect.
make
I toured a tapestry weaver, Michelle Suarez, and she does these magnificent tapestries, but she has like a huge board across her wall. It's like, I don't know, 5 feet long, maybe longer. She has all these nails along it, and
yeah,
that's how she does her tapestries. It's amazing.
it's amazing what we can come up with, you know, when we have an idea and we're not sure how to execute it. I mean, I've talked to a lot of weavers who are very resourceful and very creative in finding ways to make something work, you
I
know?
think that's like I've said it many times. I think half of weaving is problem solving. Like you have
Yes.
to be able to figure stuff out, or you're never gonna, you're
Yeah,
never
and
gonna
I
get
mean,
anywhere.
it's been really helpful to be in the weaving groups on Facebook because, you
Oh,
know, not only is there a lot of inspiration on there, but you can also ask questions and sometimes you'll get helpful answers. Sometimes people won't read your post and they'll answer with whatever you've already said in your post. But at the same time, I mean,
it's
you know it's
Facebook.
happened, right?
It's Facebook. You get what you get.
Yeah, exactly. You get a mix, but it's helpful because you have access to weavers who have more knowledge than you do.
Oh my
And for
god.
somebody like me who's not in any guild, I don't have any other way to talk to any other weavers.
Oh, I
So,
thought you belonged to the guild there, Kitchener Water.
no, no, I'm actually joining this year in January for the first time ever.
Oh wow.
Yeah, because I found out that they have meetings every once a month on the first Wednesday of the month, but you also get a key to the studio, so you can go in and weave whenever
Yeah.
you want.
Is that the
And
Kitchener Waterloo?
yeah,
Oh yeah, I've been there. I did a tour. They're amazing. Yeah, you get a key, you get to go in and weave whenever you want.
and
It's a
what's
great
cool is you can rent a loom there for like $7 a week. So, you know,
yeah.
if I wanted to do a pattern and I didn't have an 8 shaft loom, I could rent an 8 shaft loom there and use theirs,
And
right?
they have a 16 shaft loom there too. I remember seeing it.
And that I've never tried, so I might have to rent it just so I could try it.
I don't like, I wonder if they have a waiting list on that one. I don't remember
I
if
feel like they would,
not, but I feel like there would be a waiting list on it. Who knows?
right?
But
Because how many people have that many shafts?
that would be really good too because like I don't know if you saw I think you did. I did a little reel today about like, oh, I'm avoiding my loom. I don't know
Yes.
why.
Yep.
But if I was renting a loom and I had a deadline, like I got to finish it by the end of the month, there'd be no avoiding it. There'd be no like, "Oh, I'll go down later. Oh, I'll go down tomorrow. Oh, I'll go down,
Yeah.
you know?
It's easier to avoid it when it's in your own house, right? Because then
Yeah.
you could just like, "I don't see you.
I know.
You're
And
not looking
my
at me right now."
you've been in my studio. It's in my basement, right? So I don't
Mhm.
really like going down there in the winter anyways because it's darker and I
And
have
it's
lots of light.
cold.
It's cold.
Yeah.
It's
In
not
the
my
summer,
favorite.
there's spiders, and in the winter, it's freezing. Like, that's why I hate the basement.
I don't have spiders. Well, I probably do have spiders, but I mean, like, it's whatever. It's
It's
a
a
working
basement.
environment.
Nobody likes basements. They're creepy, right? Well, when I first moved into this townhouse, my studio was the basement, and I had tried to, you know, make it up all pretty, and I put down a nice carpet and a dollhouse for Tove and a couch and everything so that it would be, you know, a fun area for her to hang out while I was weaving. But I learned pretty quickly that it was not enjoyable down there. I did not like it. And so I ended up moving my loom upstairs to my living room. And
Yeah.
that's where my looms have been for the last 3.5 years.
Yeah.
So
You
I'm
weave
sitting on
more
a
when
couch
it's in your
watching.
face.
What was that?
You weave more when your loom is in your face. Like,
Yeah,
you
and I feel more guilty when it's in my face and I'm not doing it. You know what I mean? I'm sitting here watching TV after weaving all day, and I'm still looking at it going, "I could probably squeeze out another meter," but my back is telling me no,
yeah. Did
but
you
I
have
still
another
feel
piece?
guilty. But yes, I got one more piece to show you. Oh, wow,
Alright,
that was warm. Alright,
alright.
so this is my crowning achievement,
Oh,
and
I
it's
love that.
really basic, but
I
this
love
one
it.
is a deflected double weave pattern, so it's
Oh,
basically 2 layers that are interwoven together,
right.
which is really cool, and if I hold up one of the selvages, I don't know if you guys will be able to see it on the camera, but right here at the edge, it's actually 2
Double.
layers,
Yeah, I can see that pretty well.
right?
Yeah,
And then on the other side, you can see it too. Yeah,
yeah.
but anyway, so
It's
this
oh,
one is all
gorgeous.
bamboo. It's
Uh,
8-2 bamboo, and I slayed it at 30 amps per inch because you're supposed to do it at whatever you would slay it at for plain weave times 1.5. So plain weave for 8-2 bamboo is 20, so I slayed it at 30. But it's wide enough to be used as a shawl, but I mostly use it as a scarf. And I love it. It is so heavy, it is so drapey, and
I
it's
wanna
it's
do it.
not too dense. Do you know what I mean? It's
I
got
want
nice
I so
break.
wanna do that weave with different
You
color like,
really
I wanna
should.
maybe make different colors in the stripes, like,
Yeah.
you know what I
Well,
mean?
see,
Like,
I
I like
played
the
it
black
out
and
in my
white.
program, and it can be challenging to change up the stripes
Oh,
because you have to use the same
right.
ones here, and then whatever ones you go over with the other color will not look like the stripe,
You're
if
right, I
that
see
makes
what you mean.
sense.
Yeah, it does.
Um, but that's why I played with the weaving program beforehand,
Yeah.
because that way I could see how it was gonna turn out.
Everything is
But
so beautiful. Can you see the messages when they come up, Sarah? Or Penny,
yes, yes,
sorry.
I can see them. I
Everything
can
is
only
so
see them when they first pop up, and then they disappear on me, but thank you, everybody.
that was from Belinda Silver. It is
Thank you,
beautiful, right?
Belinda.
Oh, I love it.
But yeah, I love this piece. It is so warm and it is so soft and like look at it shimmy,
I love it.
you know? Ah, but yeah, so those are my favorite pieces and actually almost all of them were done this year. Only 2 of them were done previously.
I
So
know.
this year has been really good for my creativity, I think, even though it's been a bit slower. You know, business is a bit slow. Which, economy, COVID, all that stuff.
Yep, for
But it's
sure.
it's kind of forced me to challenge myself and try new things that I wouldn't have tried otherwise back when I was only taking custom work.
Yeah,
Now I'm
absolutely.
I'm
I feel the
focusing
same way.
more on. Sorry, go ahead.
I feel the same way. I'm just saying, like, I think that allowing ourselves to have this time to just do what you want to do, not what other people want you to do, it just
It's
allows
so
you to get
good.
so much more creative, right?
Yeah, because I mean, I would have never thought of a crop top with sleeves otherwise, right? I mean, it's just not something my brain would have come up with, and I don't really wear crop tops anyway, I just was thinking of something easy to throw over, so I don't always have to put on a sweatshirt, when I'm cold.
Yeah.
Um,
I'm cold all the time, hence why I'm always, always, always wearing even in the summer, I wear a hoodie.
oh man, I get cold quite often too, but at the same time, there's been a lot of sickness going through my house the last few months, so my body temperature just can't seem to regulate that well. So one minute I'm freezing and I'll be sitting there shivering inside a long sleeve shirt, but then the next minute I'm sweating and I'm like, "Oh, get this off." You know? It's hard, but again, welcome to Canada.
I guess, yeah. Speaking of Canada, we're expecting some bad weather. I guess it's coming your way first before it hits me.
Yeah.
My daughter is driving from here where I am, or yeah, from Peterborough tonight to Quebec, almost to Vermont tonight before she goes to bed to be with
Wow.
her husband's family. Her and her husband are traveling, so just
Yeah.
send them some positive vibes and hope the weather doesn't get here before they get there. I'm
I
gonna
will definitely send up some prayers because as a mom, I would be terrified,
I
especially
know.
knowing that all this weather's coming and it's like,
Eh,
I'm lucky mine's little and she doesn't drive yet, so I don't have to worry about that yet.
I know.
But
I told my daughter to ask her husband to drive extra carefully tonight.
when it comes from the mother-in-law, you gotta listen.
He's so good.
right?
He's awesome. I love him to death. He's great.
Oh,
So
that's awesome.
I'm sure that they're gonna be just fine. It's just, and I know they're going to his family and I don't know. It's gonna be great. They're gonna have a good time. I'm just a little bit nervous about it.
It's totally understandable.
Yeah.
I was gonna message, my daughter's father tonight and ask him to drop her off here in the morning instead of school because I knew the weather was gonna be bad, and before I even had a chance to, he messaged me and said when he picked her up from the after-school daycare that they said school's gonna be closed tomorrow, so can he drop her off in the morning? And I'm like, "Yes!
I was gonna say our schools
Wonderful!"
have already announced. This afternoon they announced they're closing tomorrow. So I guess, yeah, the storm's gonna be bad. Anyhow, Penny, thank you so much for joining me. I think we're gonna wrap it up.
Okay.
I've enjoyed having you here. If anybody's watching on the replay, be sure to leave comments. I'm sure Penny will be reading them as well as me. I respond to every single solitary comment that comes in. So please leave comments. I live for them.
Right.
And
Well, thank
thanks
you for
again.
having me. I had so much fun getting to show off my pieces. I haven't done anything like this for a long time,
You're
so I
welcome.
appreciate you having me.
Thanks so much. Bye for now.
Bye.
Bye.